Sketching Up episode 102 is starting right now. Today we're going to go over the first round of the brackets. It is over. We have people that are moving on. We're going to go over that. Before we do all that, make sure you follow us on Instagram, Sketching Up Podcast. You'll get all the updates there. We put a bunch of stuff out there. Go follow that. Also follow Schnabel Studios on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, TikTok, YouTube, and LinkedIn, especially our YouTube. Subscribe if you have not. We have a high view count that is not subscribers. Our last Mad Props was 95%. Viewers were not subscribed, so definitely subscribe. That helps us out, helps us create content like this. So definitely subscribe to the Schnabel Studios YouTube channel. If you subscribe there, if you go check that out, not only will you find Sketching Up, you'll find Southern Hospitality, you'll find Mad Props, you'll find some videos that we're doing. We're definitely creating more short forms. We were just doing that before we even got on here, thinking about short form stuff. Actually, Kyle has a short form that's going to be coming out soon. I just have to cut it up, but we did this last week, and it's going to be coming out about a conspiracy theory. So definitely go subscribe to Schnabel Studios on YouTube. A new Mad Props just came out with Monica Abbott, softball legend, last week. You can check that out. Same place you are right now if you're watching on YouTube. Just go over to the homepage after you're done listening to this and check it out, Monica Abbott. If you are listening, search Mad Props with Chris Schnabel and you will find it there. All right. I think it's time to go. What do you think, Kyle? You think it's time to go?
100%.
100%. All right, let's roll the credits. Let's do it. Sketching Up. We are back with the first round of brackets. I'm not even going to ask how you're doing, Kyle. So it's just me and Kyle today. Matt is out. I have a question for you. I want you to rank some stuff. All right. Okay. Today is Halloween. I didn't even start with Happy Halloween. Happy Halloween to all of our listeners out there. We're not doing it like we did last year, by the way. I don't remember if you remember. Last year, we actually wore costumes.
Oh, yeah, we did because I had the whole Itachi costume, I think.
Yes. We're not doing that because I'm probably going to be Mario again because I didn't get a costume yet.
Oh, I don't know.
So I'm probably going to re-wear the one from last year to the things I do. So we didn't do that this year, but happy Halloween to everybody that is listening and watching. Before we start, Kyle, I want you to give top five fandom. So that's cartoon. Let's do cartoons, comics, and video games. Those are the only three. Top five costumes from fandom that you could be. Top five. And if you want some help, I could throw names out there, and you can tell me if they'd be in your top five, or you could put them wherever you want, if you'd like.
Definitely.
Now, I don't want this to be your top five. I want this to be the most popular five.
Oh, most popular five that I see?
Yeah, what you think the most popular five are.
Naruto.
Naruto.
Is huge. I see a lot. Halloween wise, I always see like the sexy cat.
Sexy cat.
I always see like
no, but hold on. From fandom. So this is cartoons, video games.
Sorry. I'm sorry.
Unless you talk about Black Cat from Spider-Man.
Yeah, actually, yeah. Yeah, I do see a lot of black cats. Let me see. I'm really trying to I follow cosplayers on my Instagram, so like my brain is instantly going to a bunch of cosplayers.
I was gonna say I don't think that counts,
but that doesn't. Right, that's what I'm saying. That doesn't count because they dress up all year round. Who did I? Oh, oh god.
I could give you some that I think right now.
Yes, please.
I'm lumping one in. Any MCU character. Any MCU character is on the top five.
Stupid. Yeah, you're right.
Any MCU character.
Are you right?
And then on top of that, Batman,
Superman
would be on the top five. I don't think those ones. Maybe Wonder Woman.
Superman. Definitely Wonder Woman.
Wonder Woman. So we'll lump those two together because we love literally MCU. You could literally just put MCU. Like you see Spider-Man's, you see Hulk's, you see Captain America's, Iron. You see all that stuff.
Yeah.
All right, so that's two. Especially with the movie that just came out. Mario characters. I mean, I just told you I'm going to go as Mario again. Mario characters. You always see a Mario every year. If you go to a party, if you go to a bar, someone is Mario.
Somebody is Mario.
Someone's Mario. Someone's always Mario. Now we got 2 spots left on this.
Okay.
2 spots left. This is where it gets a little more tricky. because I didn't think about this either coming in. I just thought like this would be a fun thing to do. And when I think of things, I think of like Pokemon, but you never see people.
I don't
You
see
don't actually
people.
ever see
I
anybody
don't see
dressed up
people as
as anyone.
Pokemon.
Like no Ash Ketchums,
I don't see no Misties, no Brocks.
no Misties. Although being Ash Ketchum with a dog as like Pikachu is a solid idea, but you don't really see that. I don't think anyone in the history of Halloween is dressed up as Brock. I truly don't. I truly don't think. Misty, yes. Ash Ketchum, 200% yes.
Yeah.
But I don't think anyone in the history of Halloween
but you know what?
Anything dressed up as Brock.
But how many little kids we seen dressed up as Pikachu?
There are a lot of little kids that dress up as Pikachu.
So I would say Pokemon just because of Pikachu.
Okay. You could put that in. I don't think it compares to like how often you see like a Mario character.
That's
Maybe
true.
just Pikachu. Just put Pikachu. Don't even put Pokemon.
All right, let's take
just
Pikachu.
Just Pikachu, because no one else dresses anything.
And then...
So the last one, I have the last one actually.
What is it?
I was gonna research it. I googled video game stuff, to be completely honest, to try to cheat.
Like Link?
But I didn't even not. It's not even a video game. It just came to me.
What?
It's Star Wars characters.
Oh,
You see Darth Vader's all the time.
Stupid.
You see Han Solo. It's like probably more popular than anything but the MCU. The MCU, you see Spider-Man, all those guys. But those,
true.
I think that's the list. Now that's just a little Halloween treat for you. We actually don't have a Halloween specific episode this year. I think we did something with villains last year. We don't have a Halloween specific episode this year. This year we're going to talk about our cartoon music bracket. We had the first round go. The results are in for the first round. Let me tell you something. There were no close matchups. No close matchups. I think there may have been one that was. Let's see. There's two that are kind of close. All blowouts. So we can either go into me telling you who won, or we can have a little fun with it because it's just us and we could just have fun.
Let's have fun.
We can have you try to guess who the blowouts were, or I could try to have you guess what the biggest blowout was.
Let me try to guess. Let me try to do the first one.
So I'm going to tell you the matchups. You're going to tell me who beat who. Okay. That sounds good. This is great. So if you're listening, Kyle's going to guess it, and I'm going to give the actual winner. And I'm just going to say if it was a blowout or not. I'm not going to say the numbers or anything like that. We had a couple hundred people vote. Thank you, everybody that voted, by the way. That's definitely something we should say, because if you went out and you voted, we appreciate you and stuff like that. Yeah. So the first matchup was Be Wherever You Are versus Peace and Love on the Planet Earth from Steven Universe. Which one do you think won? And do you think it was a blow? I don't know if I want to say, do you think it was a blowout? I guess what I'll ask is, do you think it was one of the biggest blowouts? That's how. So yeah. So there were 1, 2. You could tell this is all so scripted well, huh? There was one that was the absolute biggest blowout. And I actually love the one it was. I'm actually kind of seeing these results for the first time myself.
Okay.
We were off air talking about a lot of stuff that was not related to any of this.
Yeah.
So we didn't do any prep. We did no prep.
Zero prep.
This
is in the old school.
This is as classic as you can get from sketching up right here. This is what happens when Matt doesn't show up.
Yeah. It gets a little less precise.
Okay. So there was one that was an absolute blowout.
Okay.
What I mean by that is the second one had less than 1% of the vote. Less than 1% of the vote. Okay, if you round it up, I guess you could say it was 1%, but it had less than 1%. There were a bunch that were there are a couple that were tied, but there were a bunch that were like big blowouts. So we'll say I'll have you try to guess if it was the biggest blowout. How's that sound? So I'm going to tell you, you tell me who won, and then you tell me if you think it was the biggest blowout or not.
All right.
So Peace and Love and Be Wherever You Are from Steven Universe is the first matchup.
I think Peace and Love won.
Okay. Kyle is 0 for 1. Be Wherever You Are.
Really?
Beat Peace and Love, so it'll be moving on. Do you think it was the biggest blowout? Yes, you are correct there. It was not the biggest blowout, although it was a pretty big blowout. Be wherever you are got 76% of the vote. 76. Like I said before we started, it was not very close, although this one was a lot closer. Stronger Than You versus It's Over, Isn't It? Both from Steven Universe.
Stronger Than You had to win.
You are now 1-1. I'm actually going to keep your record right here, so you're going to see my hands kind of in an awkward position. Do you think it was the biggest blowout?
Yes. No. Yes.
Oh, that's a good catch. It's a good catch because it was one of the closest ones.
No.
Stronger Than You had 55% of the vote. 55% of the vote. So it was very close. Okay. The next one, these are the SpongeBob ones.
Okay.
Sweet Victory versus The Fun Song. Who do you think won? And do you think it was the biggest blowout? Just start with the winner. Who do you think won?
Sweet Victory.
That is correct. Sweet Victory did come out victorious. Was it the biggest blowout? This is a tough question. It's a very tough question. We'll give you 5 seconds to answer.
No.
Good job. It was not the biggest blowout. It did have a very high percentage, 87% of the vote. But it was not the biggest blowout. All right, the other one from SpongeBob was the Campfire Song versus Krusty Krab Pizza. Which one do you think won?
Campfire Song.
Campfire Song did win. Was it the biggest blowout?
Now, this is where I get torn because I feel like it was because I've always been the person who always been the lone wolf who liked Krusty Krab pizza. So I'm going to go with yes.
Ooh, it was not the biggest blowout. So that's your first X on that one. I'm not going to keep track of those. Okay. But you are 3-1 on the matchups, which is very good. Okay, so the next one is Simple Things versus I'll Hit Me from Hey Arnold. Which one do you think won?
Simple Things.
Simple Things did win. You're on a roll right now. You're on absolute roll right now. You are 4-1. Was it the biggest blowout?
It's a higher chance if I say no.
You are correct. It is a no. It is a no there. So this one, I'm just going to give you. I'm not trying to throw you off. All right. I'll just tell you right now, this wasn't the biggest one because what I'm about to say might throw you off. So this wasn't the biggest one. I thought this was going to be a just absolute battle between the two. I thought it was the best matchup. The winner of this one had almost 90% of the vote. Shiny Teeth versus Icky Vicky. I think this one should be pretty easy for you. Shiny Teeth had almost 90% of the vote. I could have sworn. I'll give you the victory, by the way. I'll give you the victory. I thought it was going to have a lot more. It did not. It absolutely destroyed
Shiny
Teeth to go on to the next round.
Shiny Teeth is a banger.
It is a banger. It is a banger. So now we have from Phineas and Ferb, I forgot the name of the show, Ain't Got Rhythm, and then the TikTok hit Squirrel in My Pants went up against each other. Who came out victorious?
Squirrel in My Pants.
You are absolutely killing it. You are 6-1 in the guessing. Was it the biggest blowout, though?
Mm-mm.
It was not the biggest blowout. It was not the biggest blowout. So going last two from the two-show ones, we have Adventure Time.
Okay.
Everything Stays versus I'm Just Your Problem. Which one do you think won? Your indecision is very good here because this was the closest battle, tied for the closest battle, I should say. Was the closest battle.
Everyone Stays?
Congratulations. I thought you were going to go the other way.
Oh!
Great job. It was 54% of the votes for Everything Stays There. Now we have the Bob's Burgers. One's the lipstick on his pickup and the puppet battle. Which one do you think won between those two songs? I should put a ticking clock, like 60 minutes, every time I ask a question. I'm not going to do that because that would require a lot of editing, but I should do that. If I had a watch on, I would do it. Maybe if I grab my phone, I could do the tick, 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 tick. But that also would take effort. Puppet Battle did win. 63% of the votes. So you are absolutely killing it. You're at 8-1. Now we have another one. Again, don't worry about if it was the biggest blowout or not. The country's song versus the capital song. Again, I thought it was two heavyweights going against each other. One in a landslide. Was not the biggest blowout. And which one was it?
Capital song.
You're now 8-2. It was a country song.
Oh.
The country song had 82% of the votes.
I'm 8. Okay.
Now we have the last one of two of the same show. We have American Dad, Daddy's Gone versus Girl You Need a Shot. Which one do you think won? Daddy's Gone. Girl, You Need a Shot. Captivating.
Girl, You Need a Shot.
Girl, You Need a Shot did win. Was it the biggest blowout?
Yes.
Unreal. It was the biggest blowout. And you got it right. And he is off and...
Come on, bees.
Great stuff there. Girl, you need a shot. Or sorry, Daddy's Gone had 0.6% of the vote. Not even 1% of the vote. Unreal stuff there. Unreal stuff. All right, so you are 9-2. You are 9-2. You did get one wrong on the is it the biggest blowout, but you don't have to worry about that now because there are no more of those because you just got the biggest blowout. I guess I should have saved that for the end. That would have made more sense. But it's okay because if I did that, then you could have strategized, oh, there's a lot of no's. He's not going to do it. But you got it. All right. We have the freestyle from regular show versus Play It Smooth. Which one do you think won here?
The freestyle.
Oh, he's on a little bit of a slide now. He's
What?
9-3.
I seen
Play
that
It Smooth.
everywhere.
Play It Smooth.
I seen that freestyle, but one. You know what? You know why? I do follow Tyler, the Creator, and all his stuff.
He is in that. It's kind of a cheat because there was 4 freestyles in the video that we shared. It's kind of a cheat. It's almost like 4 different songs, but it didn't matter because Play It Smooth blew away the competition. Again, a lot of these were not close. We went through all the closest ones, so none of these are close anymore. All right. We will go with, this was the second biggest blowout, believe it or not. Powerpuff Girls, Love Makes the World Go Round versus Star versus the Forces of Evil, The Ballad of Star Butterfly. This was the second biggest blowout. But who won in that blowout? Who came out victorious? Who was the champion of this one? Who did it?
I might be 9-4. I might be 9-4.
He thinks he's going to be 9-4.
Yeah, I'm going to take
Star. But you never know.
I'm going to take Star.
He thought he was going to be 9-4, but he's 10-3.
Oh, your boy. Your boy.
By the way, anybody that's listening and not watching, like, I'm glad you're listening, but you need to go over to Schnabel Studios on YouTube and check it out because the reactions are what it is. The reactions are amazing. Star vs. the Force of Evil got 86% of the vote. 86% of the vote over Powerpuff Girls. So Powerpuff Girls is gone. We have three left. Then we'll get out of this captivating stuff we're doing here. So we have The Simpsons. I actually missed this one. This should have gone with the. I just have a list. I don't actually have the bracket in front of me. So we have The Simpsons Monorail Song versus Baby on Board. Who came out victorious in this one? Do you think?
Monorail Song.
And there's his fourth loss. He's now 10-4. It was Baby on Board. That came, and the Simpsons songs did not get a lot of love in this. So then we have the Cleveland show, Cleveland Jr. versus Kenny West, and then we have Futurama, Welcome to Robot Hell. One of the last two matchups. Who do we got?
Kenny West.
He is on a slide at 10-5.
Jesus.
He's gonna go with a winning record, so that's good.
I'm Mike Tomlin, baby.
But can he go 11-5? Richer Shade of Blue, Killer Tofu. Who won? Tried to rhyme, didn't work.
Killer Tofu.
He finishes 11-5.
Yeah, because one thing I know. Nobody really. I really feel like only Andre 3000 fans know about Class of 3000.
Yeah, it didn't really last too long, did it?
Mm-mm. Like you have to be an Andre 3000 fan.
You have to be an Andre 3000 fan or Andre 3000 himself. So this would mean let's go back really quick. This is going to take me a second. So on to the next round, we have Be Wherever You Are versus Stronger Than You in the 4-song bracket. And then we have Sweet Victory versus the Campfire song. In the 2-song bracket, we have Squirrel in My Pants versus the country song, Baby on Board versus Everything Stays from Adventure Time. In the 2-show bracket, we have Simple Things from Hey Arnold versus Shiny Teeth.
Ooh.
Sorry, Simple Things. I don't think you're
Shiny
going on
Teeth
to the next round.
Shiny Teeth is...
You think Shiny Teeth is out of there?
No. When I mean out of there, that means I think Shiny Teeth might be
on to the next round.
I think they final
to the next round. Well,
yeah.
I don't know because you have the puppet battle from Bob's Burgers, but another one, I don't think that's making it out of round 2. Girl, You Need a Shot is what it's going up against.
Hey.
So this could mean that the final in this bracket could be Shiny Teeth versus Girl, You Need a Shot, which are two legitimately they could win type deals. So that's tough. That's tough. The last one is Killer Tofu versus the Ballad of Star Butterfly. It'll come eventually. Trust me, I do this.
Killer Tofu is like he's Killer Tofu, bro. It's a rap for Star.
Wow, we'll have to see. I don't know. Star did get the second most votes in the entire thing, but we'll see. Then we have Welcome to Robot Hell versus Play It Smooth. I like Welcome to Robot Hell personally. I think Play It Smooth is going to be going on to the next round. I really think that song. Not only do I think the song is really catchy, but I think it has a really good matchup. You know what I mean? Like the matchup there is pretty legit. So. All right, Kyle, what do you think the biggest surprises are here out of what you just heard, other than you going 11-5 and really choking at the end there? By the way, you were like 9-1.
I was on a roll.
So that's probably the biggest surprise. But what else do you have here? I mean, personally, I didn't think there were any what I would call upsets.
No, not really. Like outside of like personal upsets. But honest, actual analytical things, no, not really.
The only one I would say that I was surprised about, although it got, like I said, the second most votes, and I thought it was the better song, was the Star vs. the Forces of Evil one against the Powerpuff Girls, because I thought because it was Powerpuff Girls, people would go with it. You know, almost like I like that cartoon better. I've never seen this other one, or I don't really watch the other one. I think Powerpuff Girls is going to go. But that's not what it was. Like the song that I personally think was better, a lot of other people did too, because it got almost 90% of the votes in that round. I do not see that happening in this round. I don't see 90% of the vote. I don't see 85% of the vote. I think this is going to be a lot closer into this next round. What do you think? Do you see any blowouts? I mean, like, all right, so I'll go through it one
Shiny
more time
teeth.
for you. You got
Oh, so go
you
ahead,
think
go
shiny
for it.
teeth? How about this? Because I like doing this where we go back and forth, right?
Okay.
Instead of me just listing and you saying yes or no. Like, well, that's what I wanted to do. Instead of me just listing and then going to you and then coming back to me. How about this? I'm going to tell you the matchups again. I'm going to say the
Okay.
matchups. You tell me if it's going to be close or a blowout. All
All
right.
right. Holla at me.
And tell me why you think that. All right.
All right.
So give me a little insight on it. So the first one is Be Wherever You Are versus Stronger Than You from Steven Universe. Do you
I
think that's going to be a blowout? I don't think that's going to be a blowout.
no, but I think stronger than you because stronger than you is just like to me. Stronger than you is just is a better song.
I think so too. I think so. I personally like Be Wherever You Are
Yeah.
in the episode it's in, but I think as a standalone song, this is the thing with Steven Universe. For anybody listening, that does these. The problem with the Steven Universe songs is if you watch Steven Universe, you can listen to it as a standalone song. But if you've never seen the show, it's hard to. That's what I think. Peace and Love. If you're a show watcher and you know where it came from, you like the song a lot more. But the people that haven't seen the show, like going up against Be Wherever You Are, like Be Wherever You Are is a better standalone. I still don't know if it's a great standalone, but it's a better standalone than the other one. You know what I mean? So like that's the tough part about the Steven Universe songs is they're not really the best standalone songs. That's what I've noticed from this at least. Like they're not the best. And talking to people that voted that I know, they didn't see the show and they just didn't understand like the concept of the song or something like that. So they voted for the other one or something like that. So I also think Stronger Than You is going to go. I think it's the best standalone of the two, I should say. So I agree there. Sweet Victory Campfire Song. I don't think it's going to be a blowout, but Sweet Victory is probably moving on. Sweet Victory is probably going to win this bracket. Do you
I can
agree?
see that. I could. Yeah. Sweet. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, man. Sweet victory. Yeah.
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 Not much needs to be said there. It's literally like one of the more iconic cartoon songs of all time. The moment itself is iconic. So
Yeah.
we'll see how it goes there. Squirrel in My Pants versus the country song. Again, don't think it's going to be a blowout, especially because of the TikTok presence of the first one.
Yeah.
But I personally think the country song is going to move on. I love the country song from Animaniacs. I think it was one of the stronger. I think it would have been a higher seed if this was a seeded thing. But what do you think? Do you think the TikTok song will take over?
Yeah, I think the TikTok song is gonna take over. But if Animaniacs was if it was one of those shows that people deemed more nostalgic, you know what I'm saying?
That's a good point. Like I know a lot of people when you talk about it remember watching it and stuff, but nobody like it's not talked about like SpongeBob or anything like that. Like or any of those. It's not talked about like Powerpuff Girls. Let me think. Courage the Cowardly Dog. Like it's not talked about like those types of shows.
Because
I'm trying to think old '90s show that wasn't rebooted.
I was about to say, to me, what I think it is with the nostalgia with a lot of people, their nostalgia stops at like 2001, and they don't go no further back because like
Well, but the Animaniacs is the mid '90s. It went from '95 to '97 or something. Like
but
that.
that's what I'm saying. That's why I say 2001.
Oh, it starts at 2001.
It starts at 2001.
I think it stops at 2001.
I'm sorry. It starts at 2001 and goes more present. But anything before 2001, I think people blank on it, and it's only 30 and up because, like, I don't know why. There's a few shows, and I know this is going to be slightly off of cartoons. It's going to be slightly live action, but it's still like in the realm of more whimsical shows.
Okay.
Like, you know how people looks at all that with the nostalgia, how they look at Boy Meets World with the nostalgia. How come they don't look at Sabrina the Teenage Witch the same? You know what I'm saying? Like
I could tell you why because I don't think Sabrina had the not replayability. What am I trying to say? Like it wasn't on streaming or anything for a while. It is now. I just saw it got added to like Netflix or something like that. But like all that was with Paramount or Viacom, whatever you want to say, so you can get on Hulu and stuff like that. I may be wrong on the locations of this stuff, but you were able to get it. Plus, Nickelodeon had Teen Nick, which was its own thing that replayed all that like crazy. The other thing is Keenan is still very relevant. Like so he was on all that and and Amanda Bynes became a huge star in the late 2000s. Like all this stuff kind of adds up to where so you may be nostalgic of all that. But I think it's just because the people that were in all that were still in your life for a long time after that. Now, I don't remember. I know the person that played Sabrina. Well, I can't remember her name. Anyway, I know she was around for a while. It wasn't. Who was it that played Sabrina? I can't remember off the top
Forget.
of my
I
head.
just always knew her as Sabrina. Like that's Sabrina.
Well,
My brain.
she
I know she played other
she like
things. I know she's played
yeah,
other characters.
she definitely has. She's Melissa Joan Hart. Melissa Joan Hart. She's been in a lot of things. Like she definitely was around still as well. But like I think Amanda Bynes was in some of the biggest teen movies of the 2000s. You know, so that's how I think that happens. Like because people are nostalgic of all that, but like they don't really remember all because it was in the 90s. It was like the mid 90s, and then it went
Yeah.
a little bit into the 2000s. But like the prime years of Amanda Bynes, Kenan Thompson, Kel Mitchell, like those years were like I believe the late 90s. So
Yeah.
that's why I think that is. I think it's because they were just more prevalent as time went on as well.
And I think that's the same thing that's going to happen with a lot of these songs.
I
Because
think so too.
because it's like, you know what I'm saying? So it's like that's how I figured out some of the early ones because I was like, So it was just kind of like,
Yeah. The last one of this region is Baby on Board versus Everything Stays. I like both these songs. We're not even gonna talk about the prediction there. I'm telling you right now, this bracket is not winning. Based on the results that I saw, this bracket's not winning. I think the best chance they have is the country song from Animaniacs because that's where people are going to draw the most nostalgia. I think the Adventure Time songs are a little too deep for this type of thing. I think the Simpsons songs just didn't get the response that I thought they would get. They're nostalgic to me, but that's just me. You know what I mean? That's why this is great. That's why this is a great thing to do because just because something means something to you doesn't mean something to somebody else. So you never know. I think that I was told we went with the wrong songs from Phineas and Ferb from a couple people. So I wasn't a big Phineas and Ferb person. These were the songs that I was recommended. These are the songs that I saw. Literally, one of them is because I know it's a trend on TikTok. So I think this bracket is not going to win at all. But now let's go to one that has two songs that are probably going to go head to head, and one of them is probably going to win. We're not going to talk about who's going to win each one because we know it's Simple Things versus Shiny Teeth. We already talked about that. Shiny Teeth is probably going to win, and then it's the Puppet Battle versus Girl You Need a Shot. We think Girl You Need a Shot's going to win. Let's go ahead into the future and just predict that that's going to happen because I already know that's going to happen. If it doesn't, I don't know. We got to think of something crazy I'll do on air because it's going to happen. Doesn't matter. You can think of whatever you want because it's going to happen. All right. Who do you think would win that battle? Shiny Teeth versus Girl You Need a Shot. Now, Shiny Teeth is nostalgic, but Girl You Need a Shot is a banger.
dog. First off, okay.
Banger.
It's like this. It's like, do you want the pop hit that you remember as a child that you loved that still gives you that same feel? I'm going to say for me, it's like listening to, and this is going to make me sound really crazy, but it's okay. It's fine. I'm grown. I don't mind. It's the same, like when I listen to, like, what was the song? I was just listening to it yesterday. It was, the Britney Spears song. Oh, every time I hear, it's a song called Lucky. It's a song called Lucky. Every time I hear it, I'm like, it's slightly depressing, but I'm just like, I know Britney's talking about how much she hates fame and how much it makes her depressed.
Which one of these is depressing? What are you comparing this to?
No. I'm
Which
just saying
song
where it's
Shiny Teeth is
no.
depressing.
No. I'm not saying it's Shiny Teeth, but I'm going with it's the pop hit that makes you feel like that.
Okay.
That's where I was going. I said it's kind of depressing. I'm just saying that because just in case somebody hears it, they'll be like, "How does that song?" But it's weird. I love like the feel of the music is up tempo, not the message. So it's like that versus listening to like I Believe I Can Fly. And you're just sitting there like you got a lighter in the air and you just sitting here like this.
So I'm gonna assume the first one you're talking about is Shiny Teeth, and the
100%.
second one is Girl You Need a Shot.
Yeah,
That's
bro.
that's I believe
Yeah.
that's I believe I can
That's how I
fly.
believe I can fly. Because every time I hear "Girl, you need a shot," I'll be just had the light in there, and I'm just like this. I'm just like, my boy got it. My boy got it. Like, my boy Steve is a beast.
So I don't even want to go over the one song. I think the one song and the two song that we just talked about are not. I think the championship. Now I don't know if we released the full bracket, so I'll have to look at the full bracket to see who's on which side. I don't know off the top of my head, which is awful research by me. I'll take full credit for that, but I really hope that the winner of Shiny Teeth versus Girl You Need a Shot and probably Sweet Victory, I hope they don't go against each other in the final four. Because that means the championship's going to be a wash. I think those are the two. I think those are the two. We'll have to look. I'll have to look and see. You know what? You talk more about why you love "Girl You Need a Shot" because I know that's your song. I know
Okay.
now that the
So-
Cleveland one's gone and Richer Shade of Blue is gone. I know that's your song. So why don't you talk about that? I'm
Okay.
going to look up the full bracket to let you know who's on what side.
So here's what I'll say. When it comes to Shiny Teeth, since we're sitting here talking about Shiny's Teeth versus Girl You Need a Shot.
Okay, you don't have to talk about it anymore. I found it.
Dang. All right. Bump me. I guess. I mean, it's okay. You don't need me. You don't need me.
He disappeared. He disappeared. He's gone. He said, "I don't need me," and he's gone. He's gone. Should I wait for him to come back to say what it is, or should I?
I'm joshing you. I'm not
is.
leaving.
All right. So the one side of the bracket is the 4-song and the 2-song. So that's the Steven Universe and SpongeBob with the like Animaniacs, Simpsons, Adventure Time.
Okay.
All right. The other side is the 2-show versus the 1-song, which is very odd. I thought I would have put the 2-song with the 1-song, but maybe I was already thinking about this when I did it. So that means the championship clash would be the Shiny Teeth, the Girl You Need a Shot, or whatever. And wait, what 2 songs were we just talking about? Those
Shiny
two are in the
Teeth and
same
Girl You Need a
bracket.
Shot.
Yeah, those are in the same bracket. What was the song they were going to go up against? I don't even remember.
The Sweet Victory.
Sweet Victory. Yeah, they'd be in different brackets. They'd be in different. I was like, wait, those are in the same one because we were just
Now-
talking about that. I'm clearly off.
Think about this though. Let's say Shiny Teeth or Girl You Need a Shot versus Sweet Victory. That's smooth. That's a nice
That's
little.
big. That's a big championship.
That's a nice championship too.
This is one of those. This is one of those college. This is like a college basketball bracket where like all of the favorites are just so much better than the low seeds, and they're just gonna walk through. I don't think we're gonna see an upset this whole time, which is not fun for a bracket, but it means we did a really good job seeding these.
Who else?
But we didn't really seed them. We just put stuff together. I don't see any other. Now that we talked
Campfire
about
song.
It's Sweet Victory versus the Campfire song.
Oh,
So
never
whichever
mind. So
one
it's Sweet
wins
Victory.
that
So never mind, it's
goes
Sweet
against
Victory.
Steven Universe, and I think it's gonna I think it's gonna run through Steven Universe. I don't think it's gonna. I don't think it even has a shot to beat Steven Universe. So
Yeah, I feel you. So now,
Yeah,
Sweet Victory. I think it's going to be
Sweet-
Sweet Victory, or it's going to be one of the. Is it going to be Steven Universe?
so the potential final four will be either Sweet Victory or Steven Universe. So it'll be wherever you are. Strong, based on what we said, it'll either be Stronger Than You or Sweet Victory, coming from one against the country song or either Baby on Board or Everything Stays. So probably the country song if it makes it that far. The other side will be whoever wins between Girl You Need a Shot and Shiny Teeth. Pick your poison, whoever you want. And then it would either be Killer Tofu, the Star, Ballad of Star, Play It Smooth, or Welcome to Robot Hell. I just don't think any of those, none of those are gonna beat
Shiny Teeth.
Girl You
nor
Need a
Girl
Shot or Shiny Teeth.
It's
So
not.
that's
Like, to me, the real championship on that side is Shiny Teeth versus Girl You Need a Shot.
it's the final of the 2-show bracket. The Elite 8 bracket is the
actual
that's the one.
championship.
That's the actual
Because
championship
that's
on
the-
that side.
That's the joint. Because, like, Girl You Need a Shot is a. I need a real album from Steve, dog.
But we're in disagreement. We're in disagreement because I think Shiny Teeth is gonna go run through this thing. I think it's gonna be
Why?
close, but I don't think
Oh,
because it brings more nostalgia to people, and I just think people are gonna see that and know it and then go for it.
I can
I
see
think
that.
Girl You Need a Shot, like I like it more as well. But if I'm trying to think as a fan voting, unless you really know the song, are you going to vote for it? How many people are actually going to listen to the full song before
True.
seeing it and just going? But who knows? Maybe they do. I
But
mean, Star blew out Powerpuff Girls, so I did not see that coming.
I
But the
also like
songs were much
American
better.
Dad. Oh, sorry.
Yeah, yeah, me too.
I'm gonna
Me
say
too.
yeah, I'm also a big fan of American Dad. So like that probably is a part of the reason why I like Girl You Need a Shot.
That's our prediction there. It's going to be either Shiny Teeth or Girl You Need a Shot. Whatever one wins that versus Sweet Victory on the other side. We first, as we wrap up, let me just say, as when we first put this together, we all looked at the songs and were like, "Oh, there's some weak ones, but there are some strong ones." After 1 week, I feel like I'm doing NFL power rankings. After
You are.
1 week, I'm like, there's no shot for any of these other songs. Like zero shot. Like I guess when you're talking out of personal bias, personal opinion, you sit there and you're like, "Oh, like Steven Universe is going to do great." Like but then you see the reaction to it, like the people that didn't, like the people that voted and skipped the Steven Universe songs or they skipped the Simpsons songs. And you're like, "Oh, like people aren't even interested in voting for that one because they don't know either song or they just don't like either song." So like now you're like, "Oh, so if no one cares about those songs, SpongeBob's just gonna run through the bracket because all its competition is gonna be gone."
Right.
So that's what it is. It's a learning experience. But I do think this sets up a championship that's going to be phenomenal. I think that final, whether it's Shiny Teeth or Girl You Need a Shot versus Sweet Victory, could be phenomenal. It could also be a blowout. People love Sweet Victory. It could literally
Yeah.
just be a blowout.
You know what we could
But
do with this bracket or some of the other songs? We could make like a playlist of like
that'd be fun.
bangers. You know what I'm saying?
That'd
Of
be
just
fun.
straight like yeah. We
We
could
put it
put
on YouTube and you could go search our page and we could put it as part of our YouTube thing.
yeah.
And on the voting link, which is being updated, it'll be out now. I'm gonna update it. Obviously, the recording is before this. It has all the songs on there.
And then we could
on
put our
in
favorite.
YouTube form.
We could put all our favorite songs from animated series in general. You know what I'm saying? So it could be a
Big
longer
playlist.
list. Oh yeah, dog, bro, you're gonna hear some fire.
I think, and this was suggested so many times. I just wanted to be different. We're not gonna be different. The next time we do a song bracket is gonna be theme songs. It's gonna be theme
Oh
songs. Theme songs will crush. You'll have upsets. We'll start working on that. We will start working on theme songs.
yeah,
But let's finish this bracket first.
yeah.
This bracket is still going. There still could be upsets. We could come back next week and Shiny Teeth and Girl You Need a Shot
Yo,
could be gone. And
I'd be
we'd be
hurt.
shocked. We'd be shocked. And that probably means Sweet Victory is going all the way to the final. But it could happen, and we'll come back and check that out. But that's what we got so far. Again, thank you everybody that voted. Thank you everybody that's going to vote after listening to this. We really appreciate all the voting and stuff like that. It's a fun little thing we put together, and we want to keep doing things like this. I think having the brackets, having the lists and stuff like that, they're a lot of fun for us, and I think they're more fun to listen to than us just talking about certain things and stuff like that. Personally, my own opinion. But maybe not. Maybe people like hearing us ramble. I mean, we used to get a lot more listeners, and all we did was ramble. So maybe I'm doing this wrong. But
I remember the rambles.
oh, I remember the rambles too. So, Kyle, before we leave, you got any Halloween plans? You gonna dress up as anything like that? If you aren't
No.
dressing up, what would you dress up as if you were going to?
I'd be Skeeter.
Oh, Skeeter
I'd be Skeeter from Doug.
from Doug.
Oh, speaking
Interesting
of Doug.
choice.
By the way, speaking of Doug, I just thought about it because I was just looking at myself and I was like, oh, I could pull Skeeter off, especially with the bald head. Because what I would do is get like,
Skeeter has a
yeah, he has a
doesn't he?
thing. He has like little hairs, and I would just get like, I would get like one of those things that go
Little
on my head
strings.
like this and just have the little hairs go up. Um,
I truly don't remember what Skeeter looks like at all.
I know I can see him perfectly in my head. Yeah, like it actually
Well,
would work because I'm dark enough for it.
wasn't he purple?
He was like turquoise.
Yeah. Okay,
Yeah,
I got a picture now. I got a picture
yeah, he
now.
was
Okay.
like turquoise, but he was like
But
turquoise with a dark Caesar though. If you think
yeah,
about it,
yeah, yeah,
he was
yeah,
turquoise
yeah,
with a
yeah,
dark
yeah.
Caesar. So like I mean, you know what
You can be
I'm saying?
Skeeter. You can do it. Do it up. Do it up. But you're saying, speaking of Doug,
Oh, so speaking of Doug, did you see that they're doing a spin-off?
I did. I did. I saw a very well timed post on Sketching Up Podcast on Instagram
I
that
like that.
was talking about the spinoff. It's going to be them as adults. Doug and Patty will have kids. I think it's a stupid idea.
I do
I
too.
think it's such a stupid idea. Like, are we really that desperate for? I mean,
I love
there are
Doug.
creators out there. There are creators out there that like put so much time and effort into creating things, and instead of picking up these amazing stories that these creators can be doing, they're just taking old stories nobody wants rebooted. That Doug is like 25 years old. Like, we
And
don't need it.
it doesn't need that because here's what I don't want to have. Because who's going to be doing it? Nickelodeon.
Disney.
This.
So it was Nickelodeon,
Oh,
and then Disney bought Doug, so it's gonna be
ew.
on.
Nah, man, because Disney's gonna make this weird. Because you got to realize, like, Doug and Patty are an interracial couple. Like, it's
It's
gonna be
perfect for
weird.
them.
It's
That's
gonna
what they
be
want.
right, but it's.
You know why I think it's gonna be weird? Because who cares?
I
Who
don't
cares?
care.
The story's over. Deal with it.
It was.
It's 20 years old.
But
It's
my thing
done.
is, the '90s was the '90s and early 2000s. That's when those types of shows would have did the best because everybody wanted those like sitcom-y, real life-ish type shows, reality show type of deals. And like Doug is
Uh,
great for nostalgia. Like I love Doug. I would let my kids watch Doug. Like I love Doug. But it's just like I don't need a reboot.
no, it's done. It's done.
It's done.
Leave those shows. They're done. Leave
Here's
them
what I
alone.
say.
I mean,
If you want to do something with those shows, redraw them, like update the animation, and then just re-put them out.
how about yeah. Like make it more HD or something like that, and
Yeah,
re
like
put them out there.
like what I would do is if Doug happened in 2023, what would it look like?
Yeah,
Not
but
I'm not
see, that's
rewriting it.
I don't.
I'm not
That's the thing
rewriting
I
it
don't
or
care about.
anything.
That's the legitimate thing I don't care about. I don't care how Doug would look in 2023.
Oh.
It's not a 2023 show. It came out 20 years ago, 25 years ago.
Oh,
It's
I'm
done.
with you.
It's
Oh, no,
done.
I'm with you.
The only show you can cancel and bring back constantly is Futurama. It somehow gets better every time you bring it back, except for the first couple seasons. Those are amazing. But like, I don't need shows from the 80s, shows from the 90s. Sometimes they hit. I really like, and we talked about this, the Chip and Dale thing.
Oh man, the Chip and Dale was
There's an
great.
episode we talked about the
Chip
Chip and
and
Dale
Dale was
movie. I
great.
thought it was really good. I really liked that movie. It was
Yeah,
really
it was
good.
great.
Sometimes it hits. Most of the time it doesn't. Just leave it. Because then you just ruin the memory of the show. You ruin our nostalgia of the show. You're trying to feed off us 30-year-olds that loved the show when we were young, and then we watch it and we're like, what is this? This isn't what I expected. There's two reasons why. One, because it's not what we saw, and two, we're older now. So you either have to make it more towards adults, which isn't what we fell in love with in the first place and doesn't reach our nostalgia, or you have to make it for kids and they don't want to watch it. So why even make it in the first place? Just leave it alone. Just leave it alone.
True.
Just don't bring it back. That's
All
all.
right.
It doesn't matter. It doesn't matter the
Okay.
show.
Here's
Don't
what
bring
I
it
say.
back.
Here's what I say. You either do that if you want a cash grab. Here's what I'll say. The only way I won't totally reject it is if you redid the animation or if you made a live action.
No, I am
I know you're
fully
totally
on the
against
other
it.
side.
I know you're
Fully
totally
on the
against
other
it.
side.
I know you're
Disney
totally
does that.
against
They make the live actions. There was one good live action they made, and that was The Jungle Book. Other than that, they've all been terrible.
fire.
They're
I mean,
terrible.
no.
They're
I'm,
terrible.
I'm, no. Me and you are on the same page, but somebody has to be devil's advocate for the moment.
Somebody has to be devil's advocate, but you know what? I'm fine. If what you're talking about,
Yeah.
re-release it, make it more HD. That's
Yes.
fine.
I
If
said
it's
that's the
same
only
thing,
way.
who
But me
cares?
personally, I say that's the only way you can do it is those two
Dude,
ways.
musicians have been doing that for years. Every 10
Yes.
years they do a remastering.
Yes.
Do the
And
same thing,
so
remaster it.
that's what I'm talking about. Just do something like that and keep it moving. I don't want a whole new series. I'm on the same wave you want. I want to keep Doug where Doug is. Just like I want to keep Rocket Power where Rocket Power is. Just like I want to keep Boondocks where Boondocks is. That's why I'm mad at Boondocks with the fourth season. Honestly,
Yeah.
like that's why I'm
Well,
peeved.
luckily they're not coming back now.
Thank God,
They
but I'm
they
like, that's
they
why I didn't like.
scrapped it.
Right, that's why I didn't like the fourth season because I was like, come on, man, like, come on, man, like this.
Even Scrubs. I mean, we're going a little off, but
Oh
Scrubs making
yeah,
that
man.
ninth season, deciding to come back
Oh,
after the perfect ending, almost ruined the entire show. Like
it
if
did
you
ruin
watch
this
that, it's like
show.
this is so bad. The show's still great, but
Yeah,
the
the
ninth
show's great.
season is pathetic. It's so
Yeah,
they should have if they wanted to spin off, make it a spin off. Like what are we doing? I it's just so frustrating that everywhere and to be honest with you, it falls back into the IPs, right? Like
mm-hmm.
IPs are so
Big.
big that everybody's
Nobody
like,
takes
we
a shot.
need that's what we need. That's what we need. That's what we need something people already know. But like it's
Introduce something new.
just something
It
new.
was the same
Make
thing with.
something new.
Yeah, I'm not gonna rehash the conversation because I was gonna say it was the same thing with Girl Meets World, with Boy Meets World, and I was like, can't do this to me because that was my joint, like that was my show. So, but I feel you. I feel you. You gotta keep stuff where they at, and then you gotta come in with new ideas.
Yeah.
Just like we never get a Steven Universe without a Flapjack.
That's true.
You,
But
you
we
know what
never
I'm
get a
saying?
Steven Universe if they decided to reboot Looney Tunes for the 7,000th time.
Or just think
Like,
about if they didn't pick up Flapjack.
yeah. It's such a difference. We won't get too into maybe this is I mean, we already did the animation episode, right? So this is just continuing on with this. But it's the 90s and early 2000s are almost the polar opposite of now because in the 90s early 2000s there was like what a cartoon where literally it was just people pitching cartoons and
Mm-hmm.
seeing what stuck. Now it's like, well, do you have an iPhone? Oh, Ed and Eddie. Like, why don't we bring that back 20 years later and we'll make them 40-year-olds? And it's like
No,
it doesn't make
doesn't hit the same.
sense. It doesn't make sense. Even if you brought it back the same way, like you can't animate it the same way. That show is completely hand drawn. There's no it's like one of the last completely hand drawn shows. Like you can't bring that back. It's just not going to work. It's not going to work. It frustrates me beyond belief that we just can't figure out something new, figuring out something like that works. It has to be from something. It has to be a reboot. It has to be this. It has to be that.
It's
And it's
lazy.
because the whole IP thing. Well, it's not even that
Yeah.
it's lazy. It's just IPs make money. They
Yeah.
print money. That's why there's going to be a Legend of Zelda movie. That's why there's going to be a Kirby movie. There's a Sonic movie. There's a Mario movie. There's 1,000 Spider-Man movies because IPs print money. Print it.
True.
And that's why they keep rebooting it. That's why they keep doing things like that. Drag it out as long as it can. If it wasn't for that, The Simpsons wouldn't even be on air anymore. All right. It's been 35 years. It's time. It's time to lay it to rest. But it's going to keep coming because somehow it keeps making money. People want to see. It's not even that the show is any good. I have heard that the newer episodes are better than they've been since like 1998, which is
Really?
great, right? But like the reason it keeps going, the reason people are tuning in is because every time they do a new episode, it's like this episode breaks the record for longest sitcom, then this breaks the longest record for, Sunday night cartoon, and it breaks the record for this, and it breaks the record for that, and it's just this. I mean, they have like 700 episodes. They've probably repeated episodes 1,000 times. You know what I mean? Like, it's just let's lay some stuff to rest here. Let's get the creative people being creative. There's a reason people go to school for it. There's a lot of creative people out there. Let them get their ideas in. When Scott Koblish, who was on Mad Props, if you haven't watched it, please go watch it. It was really good. He talks about comic book creators literally are creating comic books to get picked up. It's not for a series. It's not to be a comic writer. These people are becoming comic book writers because when the comic book becomes famous or it becomes big, it becomes an IP and that gets picked up by somebody and that becomes a movie or a TV show. And that's literally why they're doing it. Like these guys aren't doing it for the passion of writing comic books. They're doing it for like, I want to make the big money. I want it to become a big deal. that's why they're doing it. And it's like, that's all people are after is IPs, and it's unfortunate. The real unfortunate thing is they have to go write comic books just to try to get their character on stage. By the way, that's what I'm trying to say here. Like these creators that are creating original ideas can't just pitch the show to a network and say like, this is a really good idea. They have to go create a comic book, have it become successful, and then try to pitch this comic book to a studio because they don't want to buy it as a regular pitch. They want it to become, they want it to already, it's like anything that goes famous online, right? Like if you get fame online, if you like have a TikTok that gets 1 million views, you're going to go like start a podcast or something because you have, and it's going to get picked up because you already have a following. Like they want the following already before they give you anything. Like back when people were creating things, they didn't have that. Like South Park wasn't a big thing, or I guess it kind of was, right? That's a bad example because it was spreading around the internet and stuff like that. But like Always Sunny in Philadelphia wasn't a big thing when it came out. It was just these guys made a home movie and showed it to a bunch of networks, and they liked it and they picked it up. Like nowadays, if you tried to make something like Always Sunny, it would have to be like on YouTube and have millions of views, and then they're like, oh, that's funny, let's pick it up. And last thing I'll say, because I'm kind of ranting and going on, but this all started like 15, 20 years ago. I'll say 15 years ago when that's what they did. Like they found these people on YouTube. Like remember the Annoying Orange got its own show. And then that comedian that had the lemons in his mouth got his own show. And then that guy Fred got his own show. And all these YouTube and internet creators that they would get their own shows because they already had that big following. And people are like, they already get 5 million views. What if we brought them to TV? Now they're going to bring it to us. And now that's the system. It's like, you need to have something already in place or we're not going to pick you up. And it's killing creators because these people that are just coming out of school or these creators that don't have that, they didn't have the platform, are looking for the platform. Like I have a perfect TV show. Well, how many followers does it have? Well, it has 0. Well, I'm not picking it up then. Like that's crazy to me. It's absolutely crazy to me. I just went off, but no, I had to go off.
No, that's great. Actually, that's perfect for the show. But it's actually perfect for the show. I was like, go ahead and cook, my guy. Go ahead. And cook.
I know. I saw you sit back. You're like, he's gonna let me cook. He's letting me cook.
I was like, oh yeah, he's gonna cook. He's cooking.
That could have just been the whole episode. This could have just been the whole episode. We could have just quickly said, here are the winners of the bracket. All right, on to the next one. But
like honestly, I really like that'd be funny if we could get like some editor, because right there I would have been like, you should have had the thing. This man is cooking right now.
Social media post.
Yeah.
Social media post.
That's exactly what that is right there. And you just pause it and just zoom it on me. That man is cooking right now. Yeah, oh, that's perfect. Oh God, on air. I know that's terrible to say on air, but God, that's perfect.
It's all good. It's all good.
Sorry.
But anyway, that's my thoughts on it. It's the creators aren't allowed to be creative because you need something already. And it started years ago with the YouTube creators and stuff like that. They were getting their own shows because they already had a following. And now that's kind of like the standard is you need a following before we give you a show, before we give you even podcasts. I mean, the big I don't hold a grudge against any of these as a podcaster. I need to say that before because I'm gonna sound salty about this, but I'm really not.
All right, go for it.
The biggest podcasts are from people that already were big.
Yes.
Like, I mean, the biggest podcasts are actors, right? And most of them are talking about the shows they were on 20 years ago, like The Office or Always Sunny and stuff like that. I love the Always Sunny podcast, so like, I get it. But then the other biggest ones are people that were famous somewhere else. They got famous on YouTube. They got famous on TikTok. They got famous on Vine. I know a lot of people from Vine that created that podcast. They already had the following. Now, if you want to join a network, you like already need to make that following, which makes sense, right? Like it makes sense, but it's hard to pitch yourself on any of those because you have to organically make your following. Where somebody made a video on TikTok of them, tipping over a garbage can, and for some reason they got 12 million views, and now this person has a podcast that's getting 7,000, 8,000, 9,000 plays each time because he promotes it on that TikTok that already that's the whole system. I don't want, I know it makes me sound salty about it, but I'm not really. It's just kind of, that's the system I've noticed with this.
Okay. So since you say that, I'll be half Southern Hospitality currently right now.
Okay.
So I watch a lot of music podcasts compared to you. You watch a lot of the other type podcasts like
I would
gaming and
say
cartoons
well,
and
I
like
would say
that.
to be completely honest with you, other than like Joe Brown's podcast, I listen to a lot of sports podcasts
Oh,
because
okay,
I
I do
don't
too.
usually have the time. It sounds crazy, but I don't usually have the time to watch sports. So, like, if I'm going for a run or I'm shooting around a basketball, I'll throw on a
Hmm.
sports podcast to kind of catch up. Like, I love the Sixth Man Show podcast. If you don't subscribe to that, if you're an Orlando Magic fan, you're missing out. They're doing huge things this year. I love the Sixth Man Show podcast. That's how I stay up to. I mean, I don't live in Orlando. I don't have NBA League Pass. They're the Orlando Magic. They're never on national TV. So like that's how I follow them. You know what I mean? Same with Gonzaga. I listen to some Gonzaga podcasts. The one with Adam Morrison. No, sorry, Dan Dickow. Maybe both of them. You know,
I feel you. I
that's
listen
the
to
stuff I do.
Okay. So like I listened to Joe Budden because here's when you was talking about fan carryover, I was a fan of Joe Budden when he was a rapper. Like back when he did
His
like
one song.
no, come on, Schnabel. Don't do that to me, Schnabel. You know I was always a real Joe Budden fan.
I saw Joe Budden. I saw Joe Budden live at Toad's Place in West Haven.
Oh
Actually, it's in
God.
New Haven. I saw it at Toad's Place. I sat front row. I actually jumped onto the stage and stage dived off. At the time, I was like 400 pounds, so I can't believe I did it. Like now,
Dog.
it makes more sense, but I was very big at the time. But I did go see Joe Budden live. I got tickets for like $10 at
I
Toad's
like it.
Place.
I just like I was a fan of Joe
Pump it
Budden
up,
because well,
pump, pump, pump,
it was
pump,
first the first thing
pump,
was,
pump it up.
he was from Jersey
Pump,
like my
pump,
family
pump,
was. Don't do
pump.
that. Don't do that. Like, come on, dog. Like, you remember how crazy I went for Slaughterhouse? I was like, oh, this is so
Yeah.
cool. Like,
He was great in Slaughterhouse until he ruined Slaughterhouse.
I know, man. But he has such an
For him.
entertaining podcast because he's a nut. So like
Yeah.
it's him, Melissa Ford, who I used to always watch. She was so fine. She still is fine. And then like some of his friends, like they just sit there and just talk about whatever's the latest thing in pop culture, or Joe goes on a rant. And it's just funny just because like I remember listening to him as a kid and was like, yo, this dude is wild. What the stuff that comes out of his brain is wild. And then just like watching him now, it's nice to watch him, still be himself and to do all of that. But I said all that to say like I like all of that like carryover does the same thing because like I try to make my podcast like Southern Hospitality a little more. I don't do it the same way he does it, but it's somewhere it's still in that where I'm still gonna be genuine. Like
Yeah.
I know you got
You
to be a
guys
little
are. You're very genuine on it.
yeah, like you got to be genuine. So like I always wanted to keep that genuinality of it. So or like whatever you want to call it. I don't know the word today. It's 9 o'clock at night. I don't know.
Keep it real.
Keeping it real before it goes wrong. Um, but yeah, I feel you though, because
Yeah.
I love how Joe Budden does his stuff. Like when I watch his visuals, I'm like, oh man, at some point we're gonna get there. Because I remember when it was just him and three dudes, him and two other dudes, or really three, because Parks is off camera when he talks. But it's like you got him and three other dudes would be just in a room with a camera on them. But now you
Yeah.
got him with a whole setup with a little like menu bar of the topics, and it's nice to see that growth. So it's like
Yeah.
I understand what you mean with all of that.
Yeah.
By the way, since we're plugging podcasts, I listen to Cowherd's podcast, but if you really want to like hear something,
That's you
I
talk
love
about
Colin.
wild people to listen to.
I love Colin Cowherd. Yo, I'm gonna be real with you. I like people who have unique takes and unique ways of
He
thinking.
definitely has unique takes. I
Yes, he
mean,
does.
A couple months ago, he said that Dwayne Haskins can't win a Super Bowl. He's not wrong.
Yo, I like it because I love it because I love the whole Colin was right, Colin was wrong thing. I love that because it's a sense of accountability, A, and then B, it's also like, hey, bro, I'm a human too. I'm going to get this wrong, player.
Yeah, I
And
love
then,
when people take accountability.
yeah, I
great.
mean, and then he's one of those people where he updates his stances with new information, and I always can appreciate that. So
I don't hate Colin Cowherd. I'll say this, then we gotta start wrapping it up.
we gotta really wrap it up.
But Colin Cowherd made his name, from what I remember, when they did. Remember Sports Nation with him and Michelle Beadle.
I remember Michelle Beadle.
And then what's crazy is this Sports Nation doesn't even exist anymore. 10, 15 years ago, whatever, it was one of the biggest shows on ESPN. It was right after you'd get home from school.
Mm-hmm.
And it was like kind of a newer take on Sports Center, I would say, right? It was kind of like, it's kind of what shows are now. It's like they get a lot of internet videos and stuff like that. It's crazy to me that doesn't exist anymore. Like Sports Nation doesn't even exist. They tried to do it when Cowherd left with Michelle Beadle and someone else. I think
Marcellus Wiley. Was it Marcellus?
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was Marcellus Wiley. That's right. And it just didn't work. And that was it. That was the end of it.
It was the same thing with
Skip Bayless and First Take.
Yeah, same thing.
Yeah,
like you always need that figure.
Well, they had Stephen A. still, and First Take is still very successful. Although it is turning back on Stephen A. now because Stephen A. kind of takes the stance of what Skip Bayless was.
Yeah.
So he has like the wild takes now, and I think Stephen A. This is my last opinion. Then I'll let you talk, and then we'll wrap up. I think Stephen A. is actually trying to get out of ESPN at this point because his podcast is completely unfiltered and probably one of the most downloaded ones because it's Stephen A. Smith, and he's extremely popular. And again, he has a huge following and stuff like that, right? So like he's probably just gonna. I would imagine. I mean, with all the cuts, once they have a chance to part ways, he might just part with ESPN and do his own thing.
But that's probably why they pulled McAfee. Like, I'll be honest. But
we can talk all day about that. I don't think he's a good fit on college. I don't think he's a good fit on college game day.
No. He's weird on college to me.
Yeah, I don't really like that fit. But they did it because they're trying to draw on the young audience. And I actually think that the audience they were looking for, but I think the audience they were looking for was already there. I didn't think they needed to add McAfee to it. But yeah, people love Pat McAfee. He obviously does big things. But I just think I think that just didn't make sense to me. But he made the money. I mean, he basically did what they all do, right? You get the big check and you go there, and now his show's on ESPN. So, not that anyone has cable.
Well, yeah. Well, with Pat, like, I love his show, and I love the setup of his show. I like how it's just like a bunch of frat dudes talking about sports. I love that. Him on College Game Day, I think he's more of a pro guy. Maybe just because I love his pro takes. I love his pro takes. Like, his college takes are cool, but I love his pro. I think he should have been on like Sunday Night Football. Well, they're not.
At the end of the day, he was a punter.
Or Monday night.
He was a punter. You know, like, it's tough for you to give college takes. Like, I don't even know what college he went to. I have literally no idea what college he went to. He went to West Virginia. But, like, that's the thing, though. Like, if you told me RG3, like, I know RG3 went to Baylor. I know Tim Tebow went to Florida. I know, like, you could tell me the rest of these guys. I know where they went to college, these athletes that go on. Like, not to say, like, it doesn't mean, but, like,
Pat McAfee.
You're not going to know where the punter went to. The only reason people know where he went to college is probably because of his show. Like, I know RG3 went to Baylor because I remember him playing at Baylor.
I do too. I remember that too, man.
He was really good. So, like, that's what I mean. So, like, why are we putting him on a college show? Like, the reason I know Pat McAfee is because of how he was as an NFL player. So, just let him stick to the NFL.
I would have had him do Monday Night Football. Oh, my God. Oh, my God. What? It would be the Pat McAfee show. Presents Monday Night Football. Cast. Yeah. Like, legit. Like, man.
The McAfee cast.
Come on, man.
ESPN, are you listening?
Free game. Free game. I just want 10 grand.
But yeah, I was gonna say free, but if I see it used,
I just want 10 grand. Hey, right. 10 grand. I just want 10 grand. That's it.
That's cheap. That's cheap.
It. Hey, look, the first one's always cheap. That's how you get them in. The second one is when
the first one's technically free if you're gonna go with that. But
Yeah, well, that's how you get them in. You feel
But
me?
nothing's free anymore.
Nothing's free. No, no.
IPs, baby.
Well, here's the thing: $10,000 to Disney is nothing.
That's true.
You feel
Well,
me? So it's basically
Disney
free.
right now it's still nothing, but they're not in the best place. They're not in the best place. Thanks Disney Plus and ESPN Plus and all the other pluses they put together.
Yeah, if you put Pat McAfee on ESPN, I bet that thing start going.
He's probably part of it too because he gets a fat paycheck.
Yes, he does.
Yes, he does. Yes, he does. Anyway, thank you all for listening. The first half was great. The second half, in my opinion,
Fell off. I'm sorry.
Off the rails, great. Off the rails, great. I loved it. I thought it was great. Anyway, make sure you follow us on Instagram, Sketching Up Podcast. You can interact with us there. You can also see what we post. We keep updated on things in fandom. We keep updated on things with podcasts. So go check that out. Sketching Up Podcast on Instagram or Sketching Up on Facebook. You can also catch us. If you want to catch us anywhere, go to Schnabel Studios. You can catch all the same stuff on Sketching Up, plus more. You can get Mad Prop, Southern Hospitality, other videos and things that we do. You can catch it all on Schnabel Studios. So definitely go check out Schnabel Studios on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, LinkedIn, YouTube, TikTok, all that stuff. Check us out there. Interact with us. Let us know what you think. Any ideas you have, anything like that. If you want to join the show, I don't care. Just reach out to us there and ask. All those places. Follow us, subscribe to us, all that stuff. Schnabel Studios. Make sure you catch the latest Mad Props with Monica Abbott, USA softball pitcher, absolute stud, legend, recently retired, talks about her retirement, has a new book, talks about her book, Rise and Shine, the Monica Abbott story, so go check that out. Kyle, when's the next Southern Hospitality coming?
Man, hope in the next few weeks, man. You know what I'm saying?
Next few weeks, definitely check that out. The last episode's already out. It's been out for 2 weeks now, I think. Check that out, Southern Hospitality. If you want to see all this in one clean, nice spot, head to Schnabel Studios on YouTube. Subscribe so you don't miss an episode, but also you can find Southern Hospitality. You can find Mad Props. You can find Sketching Up. You can find all the old off stages, some videos we're going to be putting out exclusive to YouTube. So that's where you want to go for that. Go check out Schnabel Studios on YouTube for all that stuff. Great episode today, Kyle. We killed it. We killed it. We absolutely killed it. That's how I think it was. But thank you all for listening. This has been episode 102 of Sketching Up. We really appreciate you being here. The bracket's out now, round 2. Go vote. Go vote. Go vote. You can find it in the bio of our social media, whether that is Sketching Up Podcast or Schnabel Studios. You'll find that. You can also vote on our story on Friday. You can vote on our story on Friday for which song you think is better. That could be my story. That could be Sketching Up story. That could be Schnabel Studio story. Just go there. You can vote there on Friday. So definitely go check that out. Make sure you check out some old episodes and stuff like that. We had a bunch of topics we talked about here. We've talked about in full on other podcasts. So if you go to Schnabel Studios, click Sketching Up, click Mad Props, click Southern Hospitality, go through, check out that stuff. We really appreciate you being here. See you guys later. Link below to vote. Go vote, go vote, go vote. We'll see you later. Thanks for listening. Sketching Up.